When I did the whole thing, I had also volunteered for the Japanese War.
They lit up the silver screen, but behind the spotlight, they hid prosthetics, missing limbs, and wartime wounds. These 20-old Hollywood legends carried amputations you never even noticed. Number 20, Harold Lloyd.
He was one of these kinds that belied his appearance. You thought that he was...
Long before CGI and stunt doubles, Harold Lloyd performed gravity-defying stunts that made audiences gasp and sometimes cringe. But behind his signature horn-rimmed glasses was a hidden truth. In 1919, while posing for promotional stills, Lloyd mistook a live bomb for a prop. It exploded in his hand, blowing off his right thumb and index finger, singeing his face and nearly costing him his sight. Doctors feared he'd never act again, but within weeks, Lloyd defied the odds, fitted with a custom prosthetic glove and relentless grit. He returned stronger than ever, starring in the now iconic Safety Last from 1923, where he famously dangled from a clock tower with only 8 fingers. Lloyd appeared in over 200 films, helping define silent comedy alongside Chaplin and Keaton. Remarkably, audiences never noticed the missing digits. Clever camera work and sheer determination kept his injury virtually invisible. His legacy, proof that even Hollywood's golden age dared to believe in comebacks, explosive ones, quite literally. Number 19, James Doohan.
I didn't hear anything, and I had no idea what was happening because I really never...
Before he was Scotty aboard the Starship Enterprise, James Doohan was a Canadian war hero. On D-Day, June 6, 1944, he landed with the Royal Canadian Artillery at Juno Beach. That night, a German machine gun opened fire. Doohan was struck 6 times. One bullet severed his right middle finger, another nearly hit his heart, but was stopped by a cigarette case in his pocket. Though he survived, his finger was amputated and it became a lifelong secret. When Star Trek began in 1966, Doohan's injury was cleverly concealed using props, hand positioning, and camera angles. His fans, millions of them, had no idea. Over 79 episodes and 6 films, he played the resourceful engineer Scotty, often credited with making the impossible happen. "I'm giving it all she's got, Captain." Doohan embraced his sci-fi fame, but always remained proud of his real-life valor. A man who lost part of his hand in one war became a symbol of hope in another, televised across the galaxy. Number 18, Robert David Hall.
When I got the audition for CSI, there was a string of 10-syllable medical words.
In 1978, Robert David Hall was struck by an 18-wheeler in an accident so severe it changed his life forever. The truck's gas tank exploded on impact, engulfing Hall in flames and burning over 65% of his body. Both of his legs were amputated above the knee. For many, it would have marked the end of an acting career. For Hall, it became the beginning of a powerful second act. After years of recovery and prosthetic training, he returned to television, eventually landing the role of Dr. Al Robbins, the coroner on CSI Crime Scene Investigation. From 2000 to 2015, Hall appeared in over 300 episodes, portraying a disabled character with depth, intellect, and quiet authority. More than an actor, Hall became a disability rights advocate, serving on SAG-AFTRA's national board and fighting for inclusion. In an industry that rarely cast actors with disabilities, Robert David Hall broke through and made sure the doors stayed open for others. Number 17, Zsa Zsa Gabor.
The evenings giving big parties with Her Excellency Madame Burhan Asaf Belge. Daytime I went to school.
Hungarian-American actress Zsa Zsa Gabor was known for her opulent lifestyle and sharp wit, lived a life of dramatic flair and tragedy. In 2011, at age 94, she had her right leg amputated above the knee due to a life-threatening infection, the result of an untreated blood clot. The surgery capped a decade of declining health following a 2002 car crash and multiple strokes. Despite the amputation, Zsa Zsa retained her sense of humor, joking about her missing limb from her hospital bed. She starred in over 30 films between the 1950s and 1980s and was famously married 9 times. Even after the surgery, she insisted on full makeup for visitors and remained a tabloid fixture. Her resilience amid physical suffering redefined old Hollywood royalty, not just glitz, but guts. Number 16, Totie Fields.
Advertisement, and it would say, take a cruise, a one-day excursion to Provincetown.
A pioneering female comedian in the 1960s and 70s, Totie Fields was beloved for her self-deprecating humor and brash delivery. In 1976, she underwent surgery to treat blood clots caused by diabetes, which led to the amputation of her left leg. Rather than hide her disability, she turned it into comedic gold, quipping, "I don't diet for health, I do it for vanity. That's why I still have one leg left." Totie didn't slow down. She returned to performing in Las Vegas just months after the surgery, even recording specials seated in a wheelchair. Fields was named Entertainer of the Year by the American Guild of Variety Artists and appeared on over 50 talk shows in her career. Her bravery and visibility helped normalize disability in comedy, a trailblazer before it was safe or trendy. Number 15. Jim Burns.
Have a sword fight within the ring, and I think that is, in terms of the choreography.
In 1972, musician and actor Jim Burns was hit by a truck while helping push a stalled car off a highway. He lost both legs above the knee. At just 23, he had to relearn life from scratch, but Burns turned tragedy into transformation. He became a revered blues guitarist, recording over 10 albums and winning multiple Juno Awards. In Hollywood, he gained fame in the 80s and 90s for roles like Lifeguard and Wise Guy, and Joe Dawson in Highlander the series, appearing in over 80 episodes. His distinctive voice and presence made him a fan favorite. Despite chronic pain, Burns remains active in both music and advocacy, championing disability inclusion and veterans' rights. In a town of facades, Burns stands tall, even without standing at all. Number 14. James Stacy.
And I'm going to order the fettuccine and the lasagna. Can I use your phone?
Sure.
James Stacy was a rising star in the 1960s, best known for Lancer from 1968 to 1970, a Western series where he played a rugged cowboy heartthrob. But in 1973, tragedy struck when a drunk driver hit Stacy and his girlfriend while they were riding a motorcycle. He lost his left arm and leg, and his girlfriend died in the crash. After a grueling recovery, Stacy made a stunning return to acting just 2 years later in Posse, 1975, directed by and co-starring Kirk Douglas. He didn't hide his prosthetics, he embraced them, starring in roles that reflected his physical condition. He earned 2 Emmy nominations for his work in Just a Little Inconvenience, 1977, and Cagney and Lacey, 1990. Stacy's resilience turned him into a symbol of survival. Though later controversies tainted his legacy, his 1970s comeback remains one of Hollywood's most courageous. Number 13. Heather Mills.
They're not. That's the thing. If I go down the street, all I get is kids coming up to me. Half of them don't even know who he is.
Before she became a household name as Paul McCartney's second wife, Heather Mills was already a survivor. In 1993, a police motorcycle hit her while crossing the street in London, severing her left leg below the knee and crushing her pelvis and ribs. She underwent multiple surgeries and used a prosthetic leg to walk again. Despite tabloid drama, Mills became a respected advocate for amputees. She founded the Heather Mills Health Trust, which donated over 20,000 prosthetic limbs to victims of war and landmines. In 2007, she competed on Dancing with the Stars and became the show's first contestant with an amputated limb, stunning viewers with her athleticism and grace. Though not a major Hollywood star, Mills acted in a few films and used her fame for public education and outreach, an amputee who danced her way into millions of homes, changing perceptions in the process. Number 12. Sarah Bernhardt.
Wickedness, this female demon sent from modern Babylon to corrupt.
Long before the term Hollywood was coined, Sarah Bernhardt dominated stage and screen. A French actress known as the Divine Sarah, she became the first true celebrity of modern entertainment. In 1915, at age 70, she had her right leg amputated due to complications from an old injury that had developed gangrene. Remarkably, she continued acting with a wooden prosthesis. She starred in silent films and theater productions across Europe and the US, becoming one of the first actresses to tour internationally. Her leg loss never slowed her. She even portrayed Hamlet in drag, performing while using a cane or propping herself on stage furniture. Her medical case was so famous, it was published in French surgical journals, and she remains one of the earliest documented female performers to work with a prosthesis. Bernhardt proved artistry had no limits, not even the loss of a limb. Number 11. Ron Santo.
Roger Hornsby said, that'll come with experience. In other words, keep swinging the bat the same way.
Though best known as a legendary Chicago Cubs third baseman, Ron Santo also left a mark on Hollywood through his later life media appearances. Diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 18, Santo kept it secret for most of his career. His determination saw him rack up 342 home runs, 1,331 RBIs, and 5 Gold Gloves despite his condition. In the early 2000s, complications from diabetes led to the amputation of both legs below the knees. Undeterred, he became a color commentator for Cubs games, using humor and grit to inspire millions. His life story was captured in the 2004 Emmy-nominated documentary This Old Cub, produced by his son, Jeff. Santo passed away in 2010 at age 70. The following year, he was posthumously inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, honoring both his sports and advocacy legacy. His courage inspired thousands living with diabetes and limb loss. Number 10. Frida Kahlo.
I would paint by having a canvas up above my bed, and I would paint above it.
Though not a Hollywood actress per se, Frida Kahlo's image and spirit became iconic within Hollywood circles and art cinema. Her tumultuous life began with polio at age 6, which left one leg thinner than the other. A catastrophic bus accident at 18 caused spinal, pelvic, and leg fractures, leading to over 30 surgeries during her life. In 1953, Kahlo's right leg was amputated below the knee due to gangrene. The same year, she attended her own solo exhibition, lying on a hospital bed, defiantly celebrating art over agony. Frida was filmed in several home movie reels and experimental art films in Mexico and the US. Her Hollywood influence exploded posthumously. Salma Hayek portrayed her in Frida 2002, which won 2 Academy Awards. Frida wore prosthetic legs, one famously adorned with a red lace-up boot. "Feet, what do I need you for when I have wings to fly?" she once wrote. Number 9. Eric Stolhansky.
In our imagination, imagine that the border is reassessed and a Canadian town gets absorbed into America.
Eric Stolhansky, a founding member of the Broken Lizard comedy troupe, was born without a fibula, a rare congenital condition. As a result, his right leg was amputated below the knee in infancy, and he's worn a prosthetic ever since. But unlike many, Stolhansky never tried to hide it. Instead, he leaned into it. In Super Troopers 2001, Beerfest 2006, and Club Dread, his comedic timing and physicality stood out. In fact, he performed most of his own stunts despite the challenges of using a prosthetic leg. He's become a motivational speaker, visiting schools and events to talk about overcoming adversity and the power of perseverance. He famously said, "Don't let what you can't do stop you from doing what you can." Through film and comedy, Stolhansky has shown Hollywood that disability doesn't need to be hidden. It can be part of the story and even the punchline in the best possible way. Number 8. Charles Bickford.
Will you take my word to make good for the window?
Gladly, I'll be that much ahead.
No complaints then?
No.
In 1935, rugged character actor Charles Bickford was attacked by a lion while filming east of Java. The animal clamped down on his neck and shoulder, nearly killing him. Bickford survived, but sustained severe injuries to his throat and face, requiring over 100 stitches and extensive surgery. He lost part of his vocal capacity and bore deep scars for life. Doctors warned he might never work again, but Bickford defied the odds. He reinvented himself as a gravel-voiced authority figure, earning 3 Academy Award nominations for roles in The Song of Bernadette, 1943, Johnny Belinda, 1948, and The Big Country, 1958. Appearing in over 90 films, Bickford also became a familiar TV presence in The Virginian. His physical trauma only deepened his screen presence, giving him a uniquely intense gravitas that directors sought. His survival and career resurgence remain one of Golden Age Hollywood's most inspiring tales. Number 7. Herbert Marshall.
I suppose I'm getting a little sentimentalist about the school.
Oh, but you're not old.
It's nice of you to say so.
British-born actor Herbert Marshall served in World War I as a lieutenant with the London Scottish Regiment. During the Second Battle of Arras in 1917, he suffered a sniper wound that required the amputation of his right leg. He was just 27. Despite the devastating injury, Marshall pursued acting, mastering the use of a wooden prosthetic leg. Hollywood never knew. He moved gracefully on screen, even dancing in several films. His performances in Foreign Correspondent 1940, The Letter 1940, and The Little Foxes 1941 earned critical acclaim. He worked alongside legends like Bette Davis and Greta Garbo, often playing suave gentlemen or conflicted aristocrats. Marshall never allowed his amputation to define him. He appeared in over 70 films and was an early advocate for disabled war veterans, using his platform to raise awareness and support for prosthetic advancements. Few actors have hidden such a profound injury with such skill and elegance. Number 6. Claude Rains.
I realized then what the end of my life would be. Exactly what it had been up to then, repetitious.
Born in London in 1889, Claude Rains rose from Cockney poverty to become one of Hollywood's most respected actors. During World War I, he was gassed in a German trench, which left him permanently blind in his right eye. Despite this and a heavy childhood stammer, Rains transformed himself into a voice of thunder and command. He made his mark with The Invisible Man, 1933, though only his voice was heard. He later shone in iconic classics like Casablanca, 1942, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, 1939, and Notorious, 1946, often playing morally ambiguous men of power. He received 4 Academy Award nominations. Rains's partial blindness was rarely discussed publicly, but it meant he had to adjust his stage movement meticulously. His peers called him a technician of the first order, renowned for his diction and charisma. A master of subtlety, Rains proved you don't need both eyes to see the soul of a character. Number 5. Bela Lugosi.
After the war, I participated in the revolution, and later, I found my...
Hungarian-born actor Bela Lugosi immortalized Dracula, 1931, with his haunting stare and exotic accent, but few knew of the physical suffering he endured behind the scenes. Lugosi sustained serious leg injuries during World War I, serving as a lieutenant in the Austro-Hungarian army. Over time, these injuries led to chronic sciatica and deteriorating mobility. By the 1950s, he relied heavily on painkillers and morphine, eventually entering rehab in 1955, the first major actor to publicly admit to drug treatment. Despite his health issues, Lugosi made over 100 film appearances, including White Zombie, 1932, and Son of Frankenstein, 1939. In his final years, Lugosi suffered from leg atrophy and frequently used a cane, yet he never stopped performing. His career spanned 4 decades, from Hungarian theater to cult horror. Lugosi remains a cultural icon, not only for his vampire roles, but as a man who performed through very real pain. Number 4. Lon Chaney Sr.
Folks, if you'll just gather around a little closer now. Come right in a little closer. That's it. That's fine, folks.
Silent film legend Lon Chaney Sr. was Hollywood's original makeup and prosthetics genius. Known for transforming into grotesque figures like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1923, and the Phantom of the Opera, 1925, few realized Chaney's talents were shaped by his childhood hardship. Born to deaf-mute parents in 1883, Chaney became fluent in sign language and mime. He also sustained permanent deformities in both hands during early childhood injuries, though exact details remain debated. These abnormalities made him especially dexterous with prosthetic devices and on-set effects. Chaney often performed painful physical transformations, such as binding his legs behind him to portray amputees. In Hunchback, he wore a 40-pound bump and painful eye prosthetics for hours daily. He appeared in over 150 films, creating a legacy of raw emotion without words. Chaney's commitment to portraying the disabled, disfigured, and misunderstood helped humanize them and revolutionize the horror genre forever. Number 3. Lionel Barrymore.
I would like to inform you I am now talking into this inverted cuspidor.
A towering figure in early American cinema, Lionel Barrymore came from Hollywood royalty. He starred in over 200 films, winning an Oscar for Best Actor in A Free Soul, 1931. But by the mid-1940s, a mix of severe arthritis and a broken hip left Barrymore wheelchair-bound for the remainder of his career. Rather than retreat, Barrymore adapted his performances. Frank Capra cast him as the cantankerous Mr. Potter in It's a Wonderful Life in 1946, a role entirely from a wheelchair. MGM even rewrote scripts for him, making his character seated or bedbound. Barrymore became a symbol of perseverance. Despite chronic pain, he remained active in radio, stage, and film. In the 1950s, he was the highest-paid radio actor, earning upwards of $3,000 per episode. His wheelchair didn't limit him. It sharpened his intensity, delivering some of the most chilling and beloved performances in Golden Age Hollywood. Number 2. Monty Woolley.
She drew a gun and shot her lover down.
Before he became known for his acerbic wit in The Man Who Came to Dinner from 1942, Monty Woolley was a Yale professor and Broadway director. A true academic-turned-actor, Woolley didn't even begin his screen career until his 50s. Later in life, he suffered from arteriosclerosis, a vascular condition that led to the amputation of one leg. Despite the disability, Woolley remained a commanding screen presence with his booming voice, sharp delivery, and signature white beard. Known for playing arrogant intellectuals, he was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in Since You Went Away, 1944. Behind the scenes, he was openly gay, a rarity in mid-20th century Hollywood. His amputated leg often required the use of canes or wheelchairs, but studios worked around it. He died in 1963, but by then had become a recognizable face to millions of Americans. His legacy is one of elegance, biting humor, and grace despite physical limitation. Number 1. Jack Hawkins.
You were a hero to me in the Resistance, as you were to all of us. Tell me, do you ever miss those days?
British actor Jack Hawkins was the epitome of stiff upper lip roles in classics like The Bridge on the River Kwai, 1957, and Ben-Hur, 1959, playing noble commanders and dignified officers. But in 1966, Hawkins was diagnosed with throat cancer. Surgeons removed his entire larynx, leaving him unable to speak. Astonishingly, he didn't stop acting. Instead, producers used voice doubles for his roles. Actors like Charles Gray dubbed his lines post-production, matching his lip movements. Hawkins still appeared in nearly a dozen films after his surgery, including The Prince and the Pauper in 1977, making him one of the few stars to carry a career without a natural voice. Hawkins was a box office staple in British cinema during the 50s and 60s. Despite the personal loss, he continued working until his death in 1973 at age 62. His story is a testament to resilience and adaptability in an industry that often values perfection over perseverance. Thanks for watching. These stars prove that true greatness isn't measured by limbs, but by legacy. Hit subscribe and check out our next jaw-dropping countdown. You won't believe what's coming next.